What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to Nuggets Today, presented by Fan Arts. The setup's a little different, just on the road seeing some family, but I wanted to get an episode out for you guys covering the game that was 2 nights ago at this point. And I think that there were certain things to talk about that we didn't talk about on yesterday's episode. The first one being the fact that Nikola Jokic might have had the most interesting stat line I've ever seen him have just because of the way he played. So he ended the game, he had 14, 14, and 15. His stat line was amazing, right? Triple double, another triple double. I think he is the fourth or fifth player in NBA history to ever have a triple double back to back nights, opening day and I guess the night after. But he only took 8 shots total, 4 free throws, and he went 0 for 3 from the 3 point line. 5 turnovers, 3 steals, and 3 fouls. He was plus 27 while being on the court, which I believe was the highest plus minus on anybody throughout the entire game. I have to double check that, but I mean, like, he's a monster. He really is. He is great when he's on the floor. But I just think the fact that he wasn't shooting the ball as much sort of plays it could play one of two ways. One, he looked a little disinterested. If you asked me, I think I was talking in the Nuggets chat about it. We have on Instagram a couple 100 people in there, and he looks so disinterested with about playing with his team. I don't know what it was. Maybe my initial thought was the fact that maybe he lost all of his friends, the people that he was close to, and maybe he doesn't care anymore. I know he made the comment about DJ, Vlaco, Saric, Russ all leaving, and now he has to make new friends with the people in the locker room now. So I thought that was originally it, but I did talk to Stretch, and we were sort of breaking down why we thought he was that way and playing that way. And Stretch made a good point. Maybe he's doing it to get other people involved against teams that Denver knows aren't as good. So maybe if they play a team like the Wizards, you might see Jokic not shoot as much and do the same thing where he's just passing the ball and trying to get a guy like Cam more involved or a guy like CB more involved. And you look at the starting five, and I said it yesterday, the starting five was all 5 players in double digits and high double digits for that matter. Jokic was the lowest scorer in the starting 5, had the highest plus minus because he did everything for Denver. Had the most rebounds, had the most assists by far. You look at, CB had 15, Cam had 20. Sorry, CB had 20, Cam had 15, AG had 17, Jamal 23, Jokic at 14. So I think the reason that he's doing that was just more to get people involved against a team who's not as good, and we know, obviously, that they're not as good. But interesting stat line. Nice to see 2 triple-doubles. I think he also has 69 triple doubles in his career so far before the fourth quarter, which is just, I mean, it's amazing how good Nikola Jokic really is. The next topic I want to hop into here is finishing close. Denver, not that I think they had a problem finishing at the rim because they were, bottom half of the league when it came to 3-point shooting anyway. But Denver was ferocious when it came to dunking or just finishing at the rim in general. I believe that in the first half, they had 9 dunk attempts, which I think is, I have to check. 7 dunk attempts before the first in the first half before halftime, which was I love the aggression there. I think that if Denver can make that a part of their game plan, it's really going to work. Who's stopping that? And if whenever you try to stop something like that, it's going to lead to free throws. So seeing Denver play that kind of basketball is great. The aggression that I felt like wasn't really there against the Warriors. CB and it wasn't only AG, and usually I feel like AG is the one finishing at the rim. CB was finishing at the rim. Obviously, AG had his dunk attempts. Peyton Watson was getting up there and finishing at the rim in transition, dunking on people. So I like to see that kind of aggression coming out of this Denver lineup. The bench doesn't have that as much outside of Peyton Watson. Maybe Spencer Jones will have that kind of aggression and ferocity when he's aggression when he's going to the rim. I just think that it's nice to see Denver play that kind of basketball. And I know that DA made the comment about not shooting threes, but if you're able to play a game like that, then why not go ahead and dunk on people? Why not go ahead and get to the rim, be aggressive? And teams can't stop that because, like I said, it's going to lead to free throws. And the more free throws you're giving to guys like Jamal, CB, the less likely you are to win. I think that Denver – I think the stat that they said was that everybody in the starting 5 was over 80% from the free throw line last year, except for one person maybe, and I could be mistaken that. So 4 of the 5 people were shooting 80+ from the free throw line. So if you're able to attack the rim and play that aggressive basketball, and you're going to the free throw line instead, that's a win-win regardless of the situation. The person I just mentioned, Spencer Jones, has been – listen, he's not getting much opportunity, right? And we've seen that. But he has gotten quick 30 to 60 seconds where he comes in and he really is making a difference defensively. And I think that he can be a physical defensive part of this team, right? He's a guy who's big but fast enough to also guard a guard. When it came to the last moment the other night of Steph Curry hitting the clutch shot, and I got very upset with Cam Johnson being on the floor, which I understand you need him to be. He's a starter. You don't want his confidence to deplete. But at the same time, Spencer Jones, I think, should have been in there that moment to play defense on Steph Curry. I know it sounds crazy, but if you have a guy who's aggressive, and it comes down to the point where if he's going to throw up a three and it's Curry range, he's going to make it, right? I'd want somebody to be more aggressive, and I know Jokic could have stepped up more, and I don't want to sit here and blame Jokic for the entire thing, even though Jokic sort of struggled. But a guy like Spencer Jones probably could have been a better defensive option. Even if you want to keep Cam in, take CB out, whatever the case may be, CB was struggling. Spencer Jones was having a game defensively, whether it was 30 seconds, he could go in there for 10 seconds. If he could make a big play defensively, which we all know he's capable of now, I would rather see that. And I think that he, like I said, he could be a big part of this Denver team. If Denver's struggling defensively, a defensive lineup of him, Bruce Brown, who sort of came to his senses and actually played a good game of basketball 2 nights ago, or even if it's him, Bruce, CB, P. Watt, and then Val or Jokic at the 5, I think that lineup can work, and I think that Denver's in a pretty good position if they do play him a little bit more. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is actually a defensive stat, the defensive liability of closing out on three-pointers, I want to say, I guess, right? You look at the three-pointers made, and I think that this is another thing I covered, where they made 17 threes, the Suns, and Denver made 9. They shot 34%, which is still under what league average was last year, but Denver was so slow to close out. I know that they're running zones and they're trying to figure out defenses, but you cannot afford to be slow to close out on guys like Devin Booker, on guys like, Dillon Brooks had a terrible game, but if he gets hot, on guys, Grayson Allen's obviously a shooter. Booker went 2 for 5. Grayson Allen went 5 for 13. Brooks went 3 for 13 from the three-point line. But then you have their bench. You have Colin Gillespie, who's former Nugget, coming in. You have Royce O'Neal coming in, both hitting 2 threes. Isaiah Livers and Fleming came in late. They hit threes. Those don't matter. But you cannot afford to play against certain teams like the Warriors who are able to really knock down the three ball, right? Denver is going to be in a position where they're going to be playing these great teams in the Western Conference. Then the upcoming game is against the T-Wolves today. So what are they going to do when Dante DiVincenzo and Ant are both in the game and they're going to light them up from 3 because you want to run his own defense? Naz Reid's going to be in there. Jaden McDaniels has looked better shooting. So you have to be in a position where you have to close out faster. And I don't know if maybe they have to adjust where everybody is in the zone. But something about that defense did not look good to me. Like I said, a guy like Colin Gillespie coming in, and he's pretty good. We saw he's pretty good in Denver, but him coming in, going 2 for 4 from three-point line, you can't let that happen, especially because he's a bench player. He's not great, but he's not terrible, I guess. But like I said, he can't come in and go 2 for 4 because a guy like that going off on a night where the rest of the team is hot, you're in a bad position. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I will catch you guys later.